Okay, so to show you what's on my mat and what you're going to need to make the daisy chain bracelet or anklet. Beads, so we need these small beads. These are a size 8O seed bead, I believe. These packs of seed beads you can get well off Amazon, and they're quite good for this sort of thing. So you need seed beads, small beads. You are going to need some elastic, so because the beads are quite small, you need some smaller in diameter elastic, and this is a 0.5mm elastic. Scissors obviously to cut your elastic, and some glue if you have it, just to secure the knot when you've finished, or you could use clear nail varnish as well. So this is definitely for the slightly older child. It's a bit more complicated, but hopefully you will enjoy it. So I've cut off a relatively long strand of elastic. You're going to need a decent amount. I think I've got about 85 centimetres of elastic here. And I'm going to just prepare my elastic, because you need to make sure that it's stretched so it doesn't sag when you're wearing. So to prepare your elastic, you need to pre-stretch it. So to do that, I always start at one end, and I just gently but firmly run my fingers through the elastic, just giving it a tug, but without pulling too hard. You don't want to snap the elastic, but you do want to give it a good stretch. So just go all the way down from one end to the other, and then I just go all the way back again. And I do that a few times just to make sure it's had a really good stretch. Okay, that's had a good stretch, and I might just do that one more time. I'm going to stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. Okay, so I've chosen the colours that I want to use for my my flowers. My green is going to be for the stems, the yellow for the centre of the flowers, and then these are each going to be different coloured flowers as I go. Each flower will have one stem and one centre, and surrounding the centre you'll have 7 beads to make the petals. Now it might be, you might find it easier to sellotape your string to the desk, just to stop it from moving around and to stop the beads falling off the end. So I'm just going to do that actually while we're here, because I think it might be easier. So I've just got some masking tape, and I'm going to find the end of my stretch elastic, and you don't want to go right to the end because you need some space to be able to do your knot at the end. So I'm just going to come in a little way and just tape that down, and that way hopefully I can use this as a working thread without it all worrying about the beads all falling off the ends. Okay, so to make your flowers, you need to first of all start with your stem. So I'm going to use 3 green beads for my stem. You can use however many you like. The more you use, obviously the more space there is between each flower. So it's entirely up to you how many you want to use. I'm just going to use 3. So I'm going to add my 3 on first. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to take those all the way down to the tape. I want to make sure that I am starting. So we've left that little bit of extra there. If you can see that I've got about that much of the elastic that I won't be using, so the tape is covering, and that will give me plenty to do a knot at the end. But I don't want to use too much, so I'm going to make sure that my stem is gone all the way down to the tape there. And then I'm going to start my flowers. So to do your flowers, pull out your 7 petals of the colour that you want to start. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 1 more, and then 1 of your centre of your flower. And you start off with 4. You add 4 of your petals on first. So just 4 petals to begin with. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 petals. And then add your centre. So I'm going to add the yellow centre. So I'm going to thread that on. And I'm going to take these all the way down to the end. So there they are. You can see them all there, hopefully. Can you see that? So I've got 3 of my stem, 4 petals, and 1 of my centre. I'm thinking this is a bit too far away, so what I might do is try and bring myself a bit closer to you. So let me just rearrange. So let's just move. If I do that, if I turn it around that way, you can see those still. And let me just reposition. So I'm a bit closer to you. Hopefully that will be a bit easy to see. Okay. Actually, if I put paper underneath, that might help too, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're carrying on. So we've got 3 of the stem, we've got 4 petals, and we've got 1 centre bead. Then what we need to do, okay, and this is why I need you to be able to see, we are going to take the end of our stretch elastic and we are going to find that first petal that we added on, and we're going to go back through towards the stem. So we're just going to go through that 1 bead going towards the stem. So just put your thread through that 1 bead there. You see that? And it's heading towards the stem. And then we're just going to pull. And you want to try and keep this close as you can. So get your bead there and just put your finger on the bead while you're pulling your thread through. Okay, and what that will do is bring the others round in a kind of circle. Can you see? They've sort of come in around that yellow bead. So you've got half of your flower created there. Let's see if I can lift it up to show you. You've got half of a flower. So now you just need to do the rest of the flower. So we need to use the final 3 beads and we want to come around the centre, and then we're going to go through, see this bead that's next to the centre bead, you're going to go through there. So you're going to find your 3 beads, the 3 final beads for this flower, and get the end of your stretch cord and add your 3 petals on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just gently take them towards the flower, and then, as I say, this petal that's next to your centre bead, you want to go through that petal with your cord and just gently pull. And what you will find is that that centre bead, when you've pulled it tight, is now surrounded by your petals, and that makes your first bead flower. Okay, let's do that again. So find your beads for your stem and add those on. 1, 2, so I'm using 3. Take them to the end towards your flower. Okay, and then get your beads for your next flower. So my next flower is going to be this pale blue. So I'm going to find 7 of those beads. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm going to find my centre bead too. There's my centre bead. So the first half of the flower is 4 of your petals. 4, add those on. Whoops. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then add on your center bead. So 4 petals and 1 center, and take them all the way down to your work. So now what you want to do is find the very first petal you added for this flower, and going towards the work you've already done, just go through that 1 bead, just that 1 first bead with your cord, and then pull gently, really gently. Don't do this too quickly because it will all pop about. So pull gently, hold it all still with your fingers, and you've got your first half of your second bead. So at this point, have a look and try and locate the bead that you need to go through next. So it's the bead that's next to this center, so this one here. Can you see that? So you've got your 4 beads going around your center, and you want to find this one here. So you've got this, you can see the sort of gap that's going on here. You need to fill that gap with beads, and you're going through the nearest next bead. So add your 3 beads on. 1, 2, 3. Take the beads down and thread your cord through that bead that you've found that you know you need to go through, and this time going away from the work that you've been doing. So just that 1 petal. Okay, and then gently just pull. Position the cord where it needs to be. Pull gently, and that will form your second flower. Okay, let's do that one more time. So I'm going to get my 3 beads for my stem. One, 2, oops. 3. Take those down towards the flower, and my next flower colour is going to be this pink here. Actually, what I'll do, I'll use this blue because it might be a bit easier to see. So I'm going to use 2, 4, 5, 6, one more 7, and then the centre bead. So 7 petals and a centre bead. So adding on 4 petals. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then your centre bead, your yellow bead. You've got 4 petal beads on. Take those down to the stem. Okay, so finding the first of the petals that you added, let's see if I can, which is this one here, and you take your cord and you go through that, just that 1 bead towards the work you've done. So you're going in that way. So you thread that through, just that 1 bead, and then gently hold your finger onto the bead, just to make it easier for you. Just gently, gently pull that cord. Okay, so you've got half your flower. And now I just need to add these 3. So can you see with this flower, let's see if I can, that's any easier to see. There's kind of a gap at the moment. You can see the centre is surrounded on this side with beads, but there's no beads on this side. So this is where you're aiming to get the 3 beads. And can you see there's this bead here, your cord is here. So you're going to be going around this way, and that's the next bead. And that's the bead that you want to put your cord through once you've added the 3 final beads. So let me show you. So I'm going to add my 3 beads. Oops. These smaller beads are just a bit more tricky to thread. So that's the 1, 2 and 3 of the final petals. I don't think that one wants to go. Choose a different one. And take those down and kind of lay them where you sort of want them to be, and then finding that bead that we found earlier and going this time away from your work through the bead, just that 1 petal. If I can get it through, I might have to lift it up to do that. And again, I'm just going to hold it firm so that it's a bit steady as I'm pulling it tight. Okay, and there we go. So that's that flower done. And if it's coming away a bit from the you should just be able to push it down into place. Okay, should we do that just one more time, and then I'll finish off and come back to you. So we'll do that once more. So 3 beads for my stem. I'll use this pink. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So adding 3 green beads for my stem first. 1, 2, 3. Take them down, and then 4 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4 petals. 1 yellow centre bead. Once I've added the centre bead, I go back to the first petal that I added and thread through that bead, just that bead, going towards the work that I've already done. So towards the flowers that I've already made. So going through, pushing that cord through, holding it down to make it easy for me, and pulling round. And that's my first half of my flower. And now I just need to do the second half of my flower around this way. So I'm finding the bead, my cord's coming out this way, so it's going to go round, and this is the next bead here. So I'm going to add my 3 petals on, and going back to that bead I discovered that I know is the next bead after the gap that I need to fill, and I'm going to put my cord through there away from my work, so towards the space rather than towards the flowers. So threading through away from my work, Okay, you can see it's come through that way. I'm just going to hold it down and pull. And there's my fourth flower. And you just keep going until you've got enough length to either go around your wrist or around your ankle, whichever you're making. And just to find out how long you need to go, just measure it, just put it around your wrist and see how far you're getting, and just carry on until you've got enough flowers to go around your wrist. Okay, I'll come back to you when I finish and show you how to finish off.